Hey friends, it's Lethea from Farmview Creators. Today we're going to work on the Country Kitchen Hutch from the Rust Covered Cottage by Christina. I love these hutches. They are so quick and easy. Do not be intimidated by all the little pieces. They are so fun. So for this one, I am sorting out my pieces on my sticky board, categorizing them by what color I want to paint them. And I am going to paint them with a wash of color because there's so many details that are scored in. All these details, I want them to stay bold, I guess. So I'm mixing water with Angelic. This is a mineral acrylic paint from Paint Couture. And then I'm holding my brush as parallel to the pieces as I possibly can, and then washing it over. Still going to go and dig out any paint that's built up in those score lines with my Cricut tool. Now I'm going to go in with the chalk style paint in the color Autumn Sage. I love this light green color. Again, I'm mixing it with water and just making a wash of color so that the paint does not fill in all those scored lines that give it so much detail. So now I'm going to go in with the Spanish Sunrise and doing the same exact thing, watering it down on my parchment paper and then holding my brush as parallel as possible to the little pieces so that I don't get as much paint down in the grooves. And then I'm going to go in with Van Dyke Brown. This is a semi-gel antiquing glaze. I love the richness of the color. I don't normally brush it on with a brush, but I decided to do that because the pieces are so small. For the pie crust, I just kind of used my finger to smear a little bit on there. Now I'm going to go in with Vintage Flare, which is my current favorite blue. I love it. It is another mineral acrylic. I'm going to water a little bit of it down and just use it for accents. So I'm going to hit one of the books. I'm going to get the top and the bottom rim of the bowl, get around the weight and the mixing bowl, and then I'm going to get the spatula, and it's just going to add that little pop of color. I did decide to mostly just do one layer of the watered down paint because I wanted it to have that muted, more vintage feel. Now I'm going to work on the actual hutch. I like to put the drawers and the cabinet doors in the hutch when I paint this. Not only does it just speed things up a little bit, but it just gives it that continuous flow of paint. So I'm going to go in with Charlotte Gray for the background of the hutch, and I'm using my roller because it does a really good job of keeping the paint out of those scored lines. There's a couple places that I'll go back out in and dig it out, but if you just don't put much pressure at all on your sponge roller, you won't have that problem at all. So I'm going to get that out of the way, and now I'm going to go in with British Gray, which is a darker gray, but still not too dark. Again, water it down, and then I'm going to take a different roller and roll that on. I am applying more pressure this time because there's not that many score lines that I need to worry about, especially on the top part. You can see I applied too much pressure and was popping my sponge out of the little handle, so I don't recommend that. I underestimated how much I needed, so I just quickly mixed up some more and got a good coat of that on there. Those drawers just wanted to keep popping out on me, so I just gave into it and took them out. And now I'm going to put them back where they belong, let that sit aside to dry, and I'm going to go in on all these cute little pieces, give it a good dry, and then we're going to go in with our Debi's DIY dark wax and get a little bit of distressing done. I think this gives it dimension and even more of an aged feel. Also, if you run the brush with the wax over those scored lines, it does make them bolder. So I'll hit especially the areas where I felt like there was a little too much buildup in the score lines of paint. I'll hit them a little harder with the wax. So then I'm just putting some touches around just here and there, not necessarily going all the way around every piece this time. And then I love, 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 love this top coat. This is Dead Flat Top Coat from Paint Couture. Takes out all of the shine while also protecting the paint on all these little pieces that we've worked so hard on. So I'm giving everything one light coat of that. Then I'm going to give that a good dry because I don't want to start gluing anything until they're dry. Once they are dry, I'm going to go in with my favorite glue, Art Glitter Glue. I absolutely adore this glue because I am a messy crafter and I get glue everywhere. And this glue does not make my fingers crusty for hours and hours of my day afterward. And also, it dries clear. And it gives you some wiggle room. So if something isn't exactly where you want it to be, don't worry, you have a couple of minutes where you can slide it around, but then once it does dry, it is a very strong bond. So now I am going in and placing all those little pieces where I think I want them to go, trying to figure out the spacing with them and all that before I get to gluing. And then I like to start on the top row and glue across and then work my way down because I will forget to glue something if I don't go at it in a strategic manner. I just love the intricacies of all the pieces. I love how the bread or potatoes were separate from the bowl and the pie crust was separate from the pie plate. I just feel like that gave you a better and easier time of making them the correct colors and how you wanted. Add that little apron to the side. I pre-stained the easel ahead of time, so that's what was going to hold it up, and I just love how it turned out. I think it's gorgeous and it's going to look so cute in the kitchen. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.